Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another quick pick prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting the lightweight bout between Rick Glenn versus Carlton Minus. So look at this fight right here. You got a fighter in Rick Glenn coming up from 145, that's featherweight division, to lightweight. And you got a fighter in Carlton Minus coming from the welterweight division to the lightweight division. So it's pretty much two weight classes between these two guys. And that might be the only advantage Minus has in this one outside of youth. But Rick Glenn is the fighter in his prime, I think around 31, 32, whereas Minus is around 27, 28. So Minus isn't quite in his prime, and he is has less than half the experience that Rick Glenn has. Whereas, like I said, Rick Glenn's in his prime, Minus isn't quite in his prime, and is lacking in experience, especially against the level of competition that Glenn has fought. And despite him coming from welterweight and Glenn coming from 45, Glenn will still be 2 inches taller as. Minus only 5'10", and Glenn is 6 feet, so he'll be 2 inches taller. So despite that weight cut and coming from the bigger weight class, he's still the shorter fighter. He will spot a 5-inch reach advantage, which could be significant if he uses it, but he's not the most technical fighter. Kind of fights a little bit sloppy, a lot of flailing strikes. Not the most well-rounded. Grappling definitely could use a lot of work. Whereas Rick Glenn is a solid veteran, got solid grappling. Even though his takedown offense is only about 11%, he's been fighting high-level wrestlers like Dennis Bermudez, etc., etc., and some other fighter, but I'm forgetting his name right now, but just had an amazing performance last week. But either way, Rick Glenn has been there with some solid grapplers and some solid competitors throughout his career, and has been fighting UFC caliber fighters even outside of UFC for a long period of time, whereas Minus has only fought 3 or less UFC caliber opponents. And to get to the point, he just, his striking is not the most technical, grappling not the most technical. I think Rick Glenn could beat him every area. But only thing I said Minus probably advantage that he didn't have any of his welterweight fights is maybe he wasn't the most physically strong guy, so when he fought better competition, they could manhandle him around. Maybe Rick Glenn won't manhandle him around, but Minus been a bigger fighter. I don't think, like I said, his size and how he will utilize it won't be as effective as the experience that Glenn has, the technique that Glenn has. So experience and technique. So he'll have that 5-inch reach. He'll be a bit bigger as far as horizontally, as far as weight wise, but technique, you won't overcome the technique and experience of Glenn, and that's really what's going to be all. I think Glenn could beat him in striking, could mix in the grappling, and really do what he wants in this one. I think it'd be a competitive fight. I don't think Minus is going to lay down competitive fight, but the experience and the technique of Glenn's going to be too much, and yeah, he can win this however he wants to win it, but I think it's going to be a decision type fight. So in this fight, I have Rick Glenn via decision.